Welcome to another episode of UA's Double Overtime. I'm Connor Delaney.
And I'm Victor Webman.
First order of business, we have the NCAA tournament getting back up. It's starting again Saturday. We have the Final Four in New Orleans. We have Kentucky and Louisville, the Battle of Kentucky. Vic, what do you think about this game? What do you think of the matchup here?
I think it's a very interesting matchup. They're meeting again. As we know, they met earlier this year in Lexington, and Kentucky's home court, Big Blue. They won by 7. Terribly officiated game. But the teams at this point,
Different.
They are so different. I mean, that game was way back when. That was before New Year's, I think. And now we're in the middle of the tournament. This is Final Four. They've had a whole week to prepare. Patino's got his plans ready. Calipari, the two of them going at it. They're great coaches.
Great coaches.
And this team of Kentucky.
Let's look at the story kind of. I mean, you have this like David Goliath, I feel like. You have this Kentucky team that's going to have potential 3 lottery picks in the first round, and a Louisville team that might not put out one person in the first round, but they're playing extremely well.
Yeah. The key to the game is the tempo, because Louisville likes to slow it down. Peyton Steve likes to have the ball in his hand, likes to have control. Kentucky if you miss, they get that rebound. Terrence Jones exploding on the outside. You got Marcus Steve bringing up.
They're scoring 70 points a game right now.
I think they're just a little too fast, and the length. You got Anthony Davis, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist down there. I mean, the only big threat they have down there is Dang for Louisville. I don't think it's enough. I think the length and the speed just wins out. Maybe Louisville ekes out a win. I don't know. Maybe they have some magic still from the Big East tournament, but I think this is the time they finally run out of gas. We've been saying it for a couple of weeks. I think this is the game where it just stops.
I agree. I mean, I definitely think Patino's what he's doing and like the message he's sending to his guys right now. They're going to come to play. They're going to come compete. It's going to be a highly competitive game. Peyton Siva, I think as far as guards go, he's gonna control the tempo. He's gonna make it. He wants the ball in his hands.
The key to this game is definitely Terrence Jones. He's been that nucleus for them. He's been passing up a lot of shots. He's been very unselfish. His attitude, his play. He was there last year in the Final Four. He lost. He wants this back. Darius Miller wants this back. These guys are ready to go. I know they're young, but I think they can pull it out. And let's flip to the other game right now. We've got Kansas and Ohio State. This is another rematch from the regular season. First time Ohio State was out there. Main big player, Jared Sullinger, top draft pick going to be. He's All-American. He's back now. What do you think is going to happen this time around?
I like Kansas. It's interesting because both these teams are coming off games where UNC didn't have Kendall Marshall, their X factor, and Syracuse against Ohio State against Syracuse didn't have Fab Melo. So going from a Syracuse team that didn't really have a presence in the paint like a Fab, they're going to Kansas. You got a guy like Whitty, Thomas Robinson, who in my opinion is Player of the Year. It's just really going to be different for Sullinger, and I think Kansas is going to be overpowering and overwhelming.
Yeah, when you look at these two teams, they're not that deep at all. I think it's going to be a matchup of the best 5 against the best 5, and William Buford's got to get hot out there. He's been all over the place here, up and down. The key matchup to me is Tyshawn Taylor and Kraft from Ohio State. And that point guard matchup, if he can disrupt Taylor and get him frustrated and he won't be able to pass it inside or kick it out, Tyshawn Taylor's got to step up. This is his time, all right? He's been in the shadow the past couple of years.
And he did. He did against UNC.
He did, and now he's got to do it again, because it's all or nothing. Bill Self's going to be ready. He's got his game scheme ready. Thad Mata. It's all these great coaches we got going on, and it's on the players now though.
Who do you think the X factor? You think it is Taylor coming into this game?
I think it's
Taylor. For Ohio State?
For Ohio State, it's got to be Buford. He gets hot, you're not going to be able to stop him. They're gonna push Sullinger out. They're gonna figure out some schemes down there. They're gonna be elbowing, clawing. It's gonna be a battle.
All right. Well, wrapping that up, Final Four. We'll go into talking about these players like we mentioned, Kidd-Gilchrist, Anthony Davis, in the NBA draft. These kids, they come out, they're one and done. Do you think there should be a rule to permit these kids from leaving after 1 year?
I think there should absolutely be a rule. It's not even that. I understand the money factor and all the contracts that are out there, the money that can be made for these kids. Better for them. Good for them. But I think you need to stand. A lot of these kids aren't even ready sometimes.
Yeah, I disagree, though, because I like the fact that we at least get them into college game for 1 year rather than just go straight to the pros. Like, you got to see guys like Kevin Durant play for a Texas. You got to see guys like Michael Beasley. And some of these guys, they're so hyped up in high school, and then once they enter into college, you realize, they're playing against better players. They're not what they're made out to be.
And I see it. I think the bigger problem is that these kids are getting scholarships, hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of these schools. And they go for 1 year, and then that's it. And then I think a forfeit, they should forfeit some of that NBA contract almost, whatever scholarship they don't end up receiving. I think that's what should be happening, because all this money that's being lost, these scholarships could be going to kids who I don't know, it could be the next Steve Jobs. I don't know. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
But the point is that these kids come in and they're given this great opportunity. And some of these schools are wonderful schools. And some of these got coaches like Calipari who can mentor these kids.
But what about the opportunity to go and play in the NBA? I mean, if you're an Anthony Davis, who you know you're going to be a sure #1 pick, like how do you pass that up and come back to Kentucky?
It's definitely hard. I think there are always elements of the game that can be worked on.
They're going to win a national championship this year, Kentucky. I mean, they're the favorites. He freshman year wins the national championship, talk for the player of the year, #1 pick. I mean, you can't blame him for leaving.
I see you. Well, we're going to keep with the NBA, and let's talk about those New York Knicks you know I love. Amari Stoudemire is now at 2 to 4 weeks, a bulging disc in his back. How bad will this affect the Knicks? Playoff chances? Good? Bad? Same? What do you think?
I got called by Jermaine, our very own Jermaine Dennis, the biggest Knicks hater out there. And I have nothing bad to say about the Knicks right now. They played well against Orlando last night. Melo was 9 for 15. He's had 25 points. He's distributing the ball. They're getting a balanced scoring from everyone. They're playing defense. They're winning games, and they're keeping teams under 80 points.
They're definitely playing defense. And speaking of opposing teams, with Amari Stoudemire, 43 games with Amari Stoudemire this year, they're letting up 95 points a game. With the 8 games without him, they're letting up 89 points per game.
So
is it Amari not playing defense? I don't know. Is it the
Amari doesn't play defense.
He doesn't.
He doesn't play defense.
It's a huge problem, and neither does Melo. But somehow they're doing it right now, and Mike Woodson's feeling the fire, and they look
in
like
my opinion,
they have
the best bench in the NBA. With veterans like Baron Davis coming off, a point guard like that to come off the bench. I mean, J.R. Smith, Novak coming off hitting the 3-ball. They have a very exciting team. I think with Amari, if they keep playing like they're playing, I
think it's definitely on Melo right now.
It's on Melo, and I think that's a good thing.
I
think that's a good thing because Melo needs to get back into a groove, back into a rhythm.
He does.
Back into playing how he could play without Amari there. I mean, this is going to be good because Amari will be back in time for playoffs. And
I think they could jump up a little, maybe get the 7. I think they need that 17.
I think the
problem with them is...
Then they got to play Miami, though.
That's the thing. They can't play Miami. So do you tell them to lose? I mean,
no, keep playing.
Something tells me they could beat Miami if they get to the second round.
They can match up. They can
match up. It'd be very interesting. I really hope that Melo just takes over and this team just goes.
I hope so. I'd like to see the Knicks make a run and do well in the playoffs. But wrapping that up, we're done with NBA. We're going to go to the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers seem like the top team making free agent signings. They have signed Randy Moss, Brandon Jacobs, Mario Manningham. You saw that they were in the NFC Championship game last year. They were 1 possession away. Do you think they are the #1 contenders as far as getting to the Super Bowl?
I think they're absolutely.
Over the Packers?
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting.
No one's got as much defensive and offensive firepower right now as the 49ers. Personally, they should have been in the Super Bowl last year, and they probably would have won. There was a fumble, whatever. That's in the past now. I think it's funny, a little funny that they go to the Giants and pick up Manningham and Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs.
But now you got Brandon Jacobs alongside Frank Gore in the back. Take off as many touches. Oh. That's a huge difference. You're going from a short guy to a big hulking. I mean, this team's ready to go. They got Manningham now. They got Moss. They still have Crabtree Fusion, and Vernon Davis.
Randy Moss, do you think he can still play?
I think he's going to spread the field. I think he's going to be out there, and people are going to be looking at him. He can still catch a ball. He can still run.
Can Alex Smith get him the ball?
I think he can. I don't think Alex Smith was ever the problem.
No.
They were right there. They were 1 possession away. One possession away.
2 fumbles.
They had it. Two fumbles. Two fumbles. They had it. They had it, and they blew it.
I agree with you. The Niners, they should have been.
I think they're all hungry. I think they're ready for this.
I think Harbaugh, he has a good mindset with that team. He's the type of guy that he's going to bounce back after a loss like that. And I think Alex Smith I agree with you, he is the real deal. He wasn't the problem. Their defense is phenomenal.
I mean, I might turn into a 49ers fan myself.
I mean,
I love the Jets.
After the whole Tebow situation, I don't really blame you. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to the Tebow thing. But that wraps up the first half of our show. We'll be back here in a minute. Stay tuned.
Good job.
Wrapping
up to that point.
We'll get to Tebow.
We will get to Tebow.
Gotta do what I gotta do. All my exes live in Texas like I'm George Strait, or they go to Georgia State where tuition is handled by some random nigga that live in Atlanta that she only see when she feels obligated. Admitted it to me the first time we dated, but she was no angel and we never waited. I took her for sushi, she wanted to, so we took it to go. Told him don't even play it, and we never talked too much after I blew up. Just only hello, happy belated. And I think I texted her and told her I made it, and that's when she texted me and told me she prayed it, and that's when I texted her and told her I love it. And right after texting her and told her I'm faded, she asked, whatever I learned since getting richer, I learned working with the negatives to make for better pictures.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien.
Welcome back. We're now going to jump right into our second half of topics, and first we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. This past week, Mike Brown's not feeling too lovey-dovey with the Lakers.
Nah,
First benches Kobe, then he benches Bynum, and Bynum didn't seem to care.
How can you blame Bynum? Did you see a three shot?
Did you see I want to know if Mike Brown is trying to institute some kind of strict policy.
What Mike Brown is trying to do is he got ran over in Cleveland by LeBron. LeBron did what LeBron wanted to do
still on this?
in Cleveland.
I think he's let go with that. I think he had a little time to fizzle out. He was on ESPN Phil doing a little analyzing. Now he's back in the game. I think what he saw with Phil, or what he interprets, what he's interpreted last season was that it was too loosey-goosey. It was too. He likes to have control. He's got likes to have control.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he had LeBron James, and he pretty much said, LeBron, do what you do on offense. I got the defense. Well, that's what it looked like. That's what many people said, that he was a defensive coach. He would handle defense, and it was LeBron, do what you got to do, go. He doesn't seem to be doing it with Kobe. And now, Kobe isn't that kind of player like LeBron, doesn't have that athleticism to just go right to the rack as he used to. But something's a little off.
So do you agree or disagree with the benchings?
I hate to disagree with coaches because you're not when a coach is in that
mindset.
But
what about you saw the three Bynum took?
Yeah.
With 20 seconds on the shot clock,
a little absurd.
And shoots up a 30-foot shot.
I don't know what he was thinking, but what I can say is that after he was benched, when he was laughing, I think that's the part that's got to go. Once you're on the bench, you shut up. It's enough. Okay. He should have just sat down. And in the interview after the game, he goes,
I agree.
"Well, you told me I was benched. That's it." Like Kobe said, I'm not going to say anything about being benched. They don't want to say anything. They just want to leave it. They just want to let it go. I think it's good. I think it's finally good. I think if they want to win a title, if they want to get back there, because last year was disgusting, the way they ended it. They got swept. Bynum got tossed. I think Mike Brown really wants these guys to get one more championship, and they better wake up and smell the coffee, because right now they got the 3 seed, and a lot of people didn't even think they would finish ahead of the Clippers, and now they are.
I agree. I agree with all that. And now we're going to move from the NBA and the Lakers to MLB. It's going to be underway. We have opening day coming up, but it always seems like it's overlooked and no one's ever talking about it with everything else going on. Vic, what do you make of this?
I think it's definitely a problem. You know, it's always funny. With me, it's the Final Four is going on, NBA playoffs, and then it's done, you're like, all right, let's hop into baseball. It's almost like a little buffer zone for people to, you know, like they can do what they want. You don't really see the first, unless you're a huge baseball fanatic, and more power to you. I mean, really, because there's 162 games. If you're really going to focus on those first 20 games, God bless you, because I certainly can't do it.
But even as a fan, like you don't like to watch. Will you tune in for Yankees opening day?
I love tuning in for opening day. Opening day is one of the best parts. I think it's just the timing. It's always it seems there's March
What's going
Madness.
on? You have the finals. You have
How are you supposed to tell somebody, hey, turn off Bulls Heat when the Yankees are playing the Tigers? It's very hard. It's very hard for
baseball. It's America's pastime.
It is America's pastime.
You gotta support your country, and you gotta watch baseball.
I think maybe there's got to be more advertising, or something's got to happen.
It's not about it. It's just about, like you said, people's interest. The interest is in what's going on. I mean, what's relevant. You have NBA's coming to a close. You have playoff picture wrapping up. Teams like the Knicks trying to make a push. You have obviously the Final Four going on.
I think it's too many headlines for everyone to stop and say, hey, let's watch opening day, 9 innings, guys. Let's hang out in 85-degree weather sweating when we could be inside watching NBA playoffs.
True.
But moving on from that, let's talk about Tim Tebow. It's been all the talk this week. But after a week of reactions and press conferences that seem to be going on for a lifetime, was this an overall good move by the Jets?
From what standpoint? I like the move. I'm a Tebow fan. I'm a fan of Tim Tebow. I think he brings a different. That locker room's a mess. I mean, obviously he's gonna have to prove it on the field before anyone's gonna listen to him in the locker room, which I think he'll have his chance. Mark Sanchez. If there's one person in the NFL I don't not want to be, it's Mark Sanchez.
I just want to know one thing.
How do you feel about it as a Jets fan?
As a Jets fan, I've got question marks all over this thing. I want to know if they would have even done this.
He's already got a sandwich. He's already got a sandwich named after him. You know.
Forgetting about the advertising for a second, everything always turns into an advertising. Tebow. I want to know if they would have even done this if Tony Sprono wasn't the offensive coordinator coming in with that Wildcat.
Yeah.
I want to know if they even would have thought about it. Because if the answer is no, then this didn't make sense.
He is the one that brought the Wildcat to the NFL with Miami when he had Ronnie Brown running it.
It's just funny, though, because when Tebow was at Florida, it wasn't a Wildcat. It was him and 2 guys in the backfield, and let's either option or I'm going to run or pitch or I can do what I want because I was stronger than half the safeties and cornerbacks in college.
When do you think Tebow takes over as starter of the New York Jets?
I don't think he ever...
You don't think he'll take over as starter? You don't think when he has the New York? You can't
do that to Sanchez. How can you?
It happened in
What I don't understand is why do you give a guy a 3-year, $40 million extension and you go, hold on a second, we need some guy who people couldn't stop
talking about.
And they're talking about
giving him 20 snaps a game. He's going to take 20 snaps under center.
If they can find some sort of balance, because look, last year was a disaster. They finished 500. They don't even make the playoffs. All this talk in the locker room. Sanchez, is he still worth it? Should they get rid of him? Hey, you know, Eli Manning didn't win until his 4th year. I want everybody to know that. Everyone thinks Eli Manning just came in and won a Super Bowl. He didn't. It took him 4 years. I think they should have given, before making a move like this, unless it was absolutely time, if they thought this was what we had to do to get in the playoffs, to finally get to the Super Bowl, then they should have given him another. Is this to motivate him? I think it's a little ridiculous to call this a motivation.
Hopefully it does motivate Sanchez and get somewhere where the Jets want him to be. We could go on talking about Tebow all day long, but we're going to get into the NBA again. We had a finals preview a few nights ago between the Heat and Thunder, where Thunder blew them out. And this Sunday coming up, we have the Thunder playing the Bulls. What do you think is more likely to happen to be a finals matchup, the Thunder versus the Bulls or Thunder versus the Heat?
It's very tough for me to decide. If they split the season series 1-1 so far, they get 2 more games coming up. I can't tell if this is a different Bulls team or it's the exact same team that we saw last year.
They've been playing without Derrick Rose for 8 games now.
And they've won 40, the first team to 40 games in the Eastern Conference. They're the 1 seed. Then again, that didn't really matter last year because the Heat were the 3 and they ended up just cleaning up. If the Heat have a new drive to get to the finals and win, I don't think it's going to be any problem.
Well, I mean, granted, OKC is going to have a tougher road in the West than either Chicago.
Because if they get to those Clippers and we got an interesting
Clippers, Lakers start playing, I mean, they start running on all sorts of the
Spurs.
Spurs.
It seems like no one's even talking about the Clippers. Everyone thinks
No one's talking about the
everyone thinks
Spurs.
it's the Thunder, and then everybody
It
else.
is the Thunder. I mean, the Thunder are playing. They're extremely
They're
well.
a fantastic team.
Yeah.
I think they have the best
Kevin
starting
Durant-
five in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
and
you
the
can't.
best six-man off the bench with James Harden.
Absolutely.
But
I think Harden would definitely be a key. I think the Heat are so driven right now, and
I think the Heat still, I mean, yeah, they did get blown out in OKC the other night, but
I mean, that just happens when Durant's on fire. You're
It's
not
gonna
going to stop him.
happen.
If you can find some way to contain him, I mean, we all say LeBron's the most athletic and also one of the most defensive players. So I don't know how you're not sticking LeBron straight on him a whole game. I mean, Durant has that quick release, and it's so hard for anybody to guard him. I think LeBron would have to be that guy who's got to get there, but I think it's
That's the
definitely the
thing.
Heat. I think the Heat have
I
just.
think
they've got a new
LeBron
look.
has a better chance in the finals of guarding Durant than anyone on the Bulls does. Who
Absolutely.
from the Bulls are they going to put on him?
I
Taj
think they have
Gibson?
answers. And I think the Heat are just too much for
And
the
the Heat are
Bulls.
too much in a 7-game series.
Boozer and Noah are very good bigs, but they're not bigs like Perkins and Ibaka. And Ibaka, who's so athletic, and Perkins, who's just so
I agree.
intimidating. He's more
I agree.
intimidating than Noah. I think they put them to shame. And I
agree.
think the Heat not having bigs, I don't think that's going to be a problem anymore.
they have Wade and
They have
LeBron
Wade and
and
LeBron.
Bosh.
Wade's been.
But that wraps up our second half. We're going to come back, talk about a little golf, and then we're going to do our big finish. Stay tuned.
Champagne showers, popping in the club, we light it up. 8 hour, I said champagne showers.
Popping in the club, we light it up. 8 hour.
Let the party rock. Put your hands up, everybody just dance.
Hello, I'm Kwame Moore. We are the
Commons.
What's your signature?
Hey, what's up? We are the Commons. I'm Dijon. What's your
Signature.
I'm Steven Mercedes. We
We are the Commons.
show us what you do.
I was really sad when I found out I have syphilis, but then I watched The Movie Frankie, and he inspired me to grab my right boob! And then my nipple automatically became hotter while I was watching the show, so hot that my shirt disappeared. I don't know, watching The Movie Frankie makes me, ass. Where was I? Oh yeah, after watching the show, I gave birth to 2 puppies. Yes. Nipple milk!
Oh my god, hi! Did you hear about the latest events on campus? What about gender neutral housing? So like, I really love the school and all the things that are going on, even though family was Drake, I heard Drake, Wiz Khalifa, how awesome is that? Are you excited? I miss the fountain and everything, and the new fountain plans are so cool. I think that they're gonna do everything that they can to try to make up for it. But it was nice talking to you.
What the?
Here at UA Overtime, we talk sports, but that's not the only thing we talk about.
How now, brown cow? headset, bro.
Stop.
UA Overtime, U Albany's leader in sports.
Welcome back. A little bit of golf. We had Tiger Woods last weekend. He won the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Does this give Tiger a little momentum heading into the Masters?
I think it does. I think it gives him a little more confidence. You know, this was one of the second tournaments he's won since
09.
I don't know how long.
This is his first tournament win since 09.
It definitely gives him momentum. It definitely gives him a little more confidence. I mean, he says...
This is great for golf.
Yeah.
This is great for...
It's
They
great for golf.
need Tiger Woods to...
He says he's feeling it. He says, you know, he's acting like he's... I mean, he's acting like always Tiger. You know, like, no big deal. Like, I won as if I've been winning the past 2 years. Like, I haven't even left.
Yeah. But this is big.
I think he's got a different look. Everyone's saying he's changing up the putting or the driving or whatever he's doing. It's working.
It worked.
I don't know where he's going to finish in the Masters. It seems every time one of these big tournaments comes around where he has a great history, everyone hypes it up, and then he just falls off the board, or he finishes close, and it's never enough.
Yeah.
It's always... I think that gives him momentum. I think maybe he'll finish strong. I don't see him winning. I hope.
I hope he wins. I hope he wins too. That would be great for golf if Tiger Woods wins the Masters.
Now let's move on to that big finish, and here we go. Dodgers give Magic Johnson a share. Magic Johnson buys it. You like it? What do you think?
$2 billion, a lot of money. I like it. Magic Johnson making him the face. Good move for the Dodgers. We got the Saints talking about Bill Parcells as possible head coach to replace Sean Payton. What do you think?
Love it. Big tuna.
Think it's going to happen?
Big tuna in New Orleans? Why not? NFL rule change. You know, they changed it for the playoffs. Now they're thinking to make it the whole regular season. What do you think about that?
I like it. Rather than the team go down, throw a few passes, kick a field goal, game over. I like it. Makes it a little more competitive.
A little too long.
I like it. LeBron playing with a dislocated finger. Is this smart of LeBron?
Why not? Kobe would go out there if his wrist was hanging off his last vein. Why not LeBron do it? Everyone says, oh, LeBron, you're not tough enough.
LeBron can
like
do whatever
Kobe.
he wants
Let him do what he wants. We got opening day in Japan. Mariners and Athletics. Are we losing?
Who cares? It's the Mariners and Athletics.
America's pastime.
The team. The team. Who cares about Steelers team playing anywhere? They could play in my backyard. I wouldn't care. Anniversary of Kristen Leitner's buzzer beater. Greatest shot in the history of college basketball.
I wasn't alive, but it's certainly the only other memory is that NC State famous air ball into a dunk and Jim Valvano runs onto the court.
Yeah.
I just wish we were alive for it.
Great.
Bulls and Thunder this Sunday. Who do you got?
Thunder. Thunder playing well. They're hot. I can go with Thunder.
Yeah, go with the Thunder.
Go with the Thunder. Agree with me for once. What are you watching this weekend?
I want to go see 21 Jump Street. I heard it's kind of fun.
Is that your movie pick for this weekend?
That might be my movie pick for this week. I got to catch up on some shows as well. What are you watching?
Some shows? College basketball. I watch the Final Four.
It seems like every time we just forget about the Final Four, and I want to go see movies.
Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Enjoy your weekend. Shabbat Shalom.